Let me see.
Me and him rapping.
Oh, he was rapping? Let's listen. Hold on. Get up on my back. Yeah. You like it? We gotta play that again for you.
We were lit.
We gotta play that again for you. What's his name?
Quentin.
Hey, Quentin. So you live in Dallas?
Oh, we live in Mesquite.
Mesquite. Well, you Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you know Bun was gonna be here?
We saw it online, and Quentin loves music.
Oh,
so
So
wow.
they reached out and asked if he could come and meet me up here.
Man, I tell you how
Made
God
my
works.
day. Man, amazing.
How God works. Because I've been literally, how can I put the word? I've been feeling for y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's like you had the brunt. It's like you took the brunt of stuff.
We did.
Yeah,
I fared way better than a lot of people, and that's why we've been so active.
Yeah.
Trying to help people, because we didn't really get as much damage as a lot of people.
But your Port Arthur, when I saw you go to Port Arthur and you saw that, I saw that. I felt that. You know what I'm saying? Like you, and it's not about what happened to you, it's about what happened to your community.
Yeah,
you know, because
the streets I've walked and the people I walked
yeah,
with.
the people that support us, the people that love us, the people that we love. You know, we could be okay, but if the world died and we're the only ones left, then wifey, come over. Still looking like Rihanna. Okay, we're gonna come on after this song right here. It's 97.9 The Beat, the GFW's hip hop station and home of the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. When I say this is one of my best moments ever right now, I got UGK, the other half of UGK in the building.
Already.
Bun B.
How we doing?
How are you doing?
I'm good. I got my homie Quentin with me. You know what I'm saying?
Quentin! Hey!
Quentin in the building with me. We chilling. We just getting ready for the show.
And we got UGK wifey number 1 in the building, looking like Riri on Instagram.
That's hilarious.
No, I saw it. We're gonna get in that to that later. Okay, but y'all, first of all, let me salute you, Bun. Let me salute you. Things happen in our life that we have no control over.
Right.
But you are not just a rap artist. You are a humanitarian.
I guess you could say that, yeah.
You are a humanitarian. You are a human. When Hurricane Harvey hit, you didn't separate yourself.
No. The hurricanes don't pick, right? Hurricanes don't choose color, age, religion, wherever you're from. So in those moments, you can't either. You know what I'm saying? When God is talking, you got to listen.
Yeah.
So
I listen to you. I've watched you. I have followed you. You have been on the forefront. You and Scooter have raised over $55 million. Yeah. For the Hurricane Relief Fund. I've seen you in the neighborhood. I've seen you working in Port Arthur. I've seen you crying.
Man.
And it's good to see you smiling.
No, it's a good thing. I mean, we still got a lot of work to do. We still got a lot of people that we have to help, and
that's why that's the most important thing that I wanted you to come by today. Because a lot of times when the media is done with us, we feel like it's done.
Right.
Hurricane Harvey is going to impact Houston and the surrounding areas for years to come.
Easily.
Years.
So we can't forget about those people just because maybe television doesn't feel it's necessary to keep it at the top of the cycle. And there's a lot of other things going on. I mean, you were looking at, people being pulled out of crumbling buildings in Mexico. So I understand that, the world doesn't just stop just because of what's happening to us. The world keeps going. So that's when we have to take care of
us.
You know what I'm saying? That's where that comes in. I mean, and for a lot of these people, in the neighborhoods that we've been going to primarily, those are the people that have always felt rejected by the powers that be, that have always felt like they've gotten the short end of the stick, and that when bad things happen to him that happen to them in their neighborhoods that have nothing to do with weather, nothing to do with natural disasters or whatever, we still are the people that they count on to come through that they feel cares about them. Because we tell them we care about them.
Can you name some of the neighborhoods that are not getting publicized? You know, because when we think about Hurricane Harvey, we naturally think about Houston.
Yeah.
We think about Port Arthur and Beaumont because that's what we saw on CNN.
Right.
But can you tell us, like, what are the other areas that no one's talking about?
You know, places like Dickinson, Texas, which was affected very strongly. They're very close to the Gulf of Mexico, so they got a lot of water. They got a lot of damage, and no one really went to check on them until this week. Like the news just went.
This week?
Yeah, so, and you have a lot of communities like that. You have communities like Woodlock outside of Conroe that just, we didn't find them until last week. Places like Little Cambodia outside of Rochelle, Texas, that we didn't find about till last week. I mean, we went to a neighborhood yesterday that's literally the closest public housing to City Hall, the closest residences to City Hall in Houston, and no one had ever been there to check on them. And to be fair, these are all places that, you know, we drive down the interstate and we see, you know, Lemon and all these different, you know, Mockingbird or whatever these streets are, but we don't exit streets in the neighborhoods that we don't live in. So, you know, so we don't really know what's going on in those neighborhoods until something bad happens. You know, so there's certain neighborhoods that we know very clearly, very well, and we know, all right, they probably hurting here, they probably hurting there. But then there's neighborhoods that we've never been to before, exits that we've never taken off the freeway, and then you hear, and they doing bad. Well, I mean, no, not even that. They're just I mean, if you live on a certain part of town, if you live on the south side of Dallas, then you don't know what's going on.
In Plano.
Right, so you wouldn't know, and if people told you they was hurting in Plano, you might not know where to go.
Right.
You know, so we knew people were affected on the south side, but we didn't know in Dickinson because we didn't know anybody in Dickinson.
Right.
We knew people were struggling on the north side of Houston, but we didn't know they were struggling in Woodlock because we didn't know anybody in Woodlock. And it's, you know, same thing all around the city. So thank God for social media in that regard, because that's how a lot of this activation happens, you know.
Yes. And when we get back, we're going to talk about social media. With Bun, I feel you, your family, your wife, you know, the whole thing that you've been doing. You're on the forefront. I just want to say a gift from God. A gift from, and I used to think that anyway before when it was UGK all day.
But I'm just investing, you know. I'm just doing what's necessary, right? I'm not special. I'm not
thank
extra.
God that you allow yourself to be led in God's will.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Because you could be a rapper, you know, who didn't care.
Everybody don't answer the call. I will say that. I mean, people saw on TV what I saw.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. We'll be back with Bun B. DJ Scrappy, put some in their ear. Oh, you just. What up, Quentin?
We haven't had any structural damage. We didn't suffer at all. You know. That's why we just been day to day as active as we can be, because we've seen people that are really going through it. I mean, we just went through a neighborhood that we went to last week, and they've gotten some of the trash up, but they still can't sleep in their houses, so they got tents in their front yard. And some of them, they still don't have the water and everything running, so they have to shower outside, and they got porta potties on their block.
Puerto Rico.
You know.
I mean, the whole country.
And that's why people here can't even sit around and feel sorry for themselves, because they look and see what's going on in Puerto Rico. It's like, yeah, that was only us for 4 days, right? That was only us for 6 days. Puerto Rico's going to be like that for a while.
No electricity. No, you know, and you look at CNN and you see women cooking like on fire pits, making sure the community gets fed. Like, whoa, and no one's complaining, no one's crying about it. You know, everybody's just.
We were leaving from one of the neighborhoods, and they literally told us, some Mexican women flagged us down and told us if we were hungry, that they were cooking free barbecue around the corner. But saw us in the affected community, thought we might have been one of the people affected, and was like, yo, they're cooking barbecue in the park. Go around there if you're hungry, if you want to eat. Which is amazing, because this is what we had been doing all week, was going to communities and asking people if they were hungry. We had food, so
God,
that's crazy.
I mean, it's a bad situation, but it makes you feel good. About what comes around it. When you get the silver lining, you get blessed.
Like people I knew casually now, because of how we've been able to come together and move and help affected people, we're like brothers now. You know, Scooter Braun was barely an acquaintance.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know Scooter like that at all.
Together?
I knew him because he manages Justin Bieber, and Justin Bieber's DJ is a friend of mine, and he manages Usher as well. So I met him before, but I mean, in passing, like I said, barely an acquaintance. Didn't have his phone number or any kind of thing like that. So somebody, you know, the DJ texted him and said I was trying to reach out to him and what it was about, and then I started telling him what I wanted to do, but didn't really know what I was doing, and he was like, "Man, let me help you," and then that's what it turned into.
Wow.
So I just kind of poured my heart out to him, and he
there
felt
you
it,
go.
you know.
And that's what happened. $55 million later.
Crazy.
And counting.
Yeah, we had to stop it today. It has to stop
You had
today.
to stop?
Because if we don't stop at some point, we can't start issuing money and helping people.
Oh,
So as long as the fund is open,
you can't
account for the money. No. You have to at some point stop collecting and start allotting money. You know, because that's a process, right? Because we don't just say, okay, here, Save the Children, here's a check.
Right.
Save the Children has to tell us, our fund, and the managers of the fund, what they've done, what they plan to do, and how they plan to do it, and what it would take them to do that. So they don't just get money and then do whatever they feel. They have to, and then they have to sign a contract that explains to them that there will be a very thorough investigation of the books, that people will come down to see what they're doing on the ground, and that can happen at any time. You know what I'm saying? So that you always be ready, prepared.
Did you know this before?
Yeah. I mean, that's all, because you can't just start taking in all this money because you're personally responsible for it. So as far as the collection of the money, like who actually gets to hold this money when it comes in, that had to be not only decided on, but then vetted by the networks. The networks controlled a lot of what happened with the telethon, and because they knew that they were going to be the ones helping us to raise this money, they had certain charities that they wanted money sent to, or certain charities that they didn't want money sent to.
Like a pre thing.
Yeah, so it's like, well, we know this company, we know this company, we know that company, so those are cool. This one, we've never heard of that. We need to vet that company. No. That was almost a point of contention for one of the networks. I won't say which one, but one of them, that's their preferred charity. And they were like,
he even knows. He was just in the back saying,
so it was, but
say it again! Say it again!
but it worked out. It all worked out.
No, I'm sorry. Oh, he likes cussing?
No.
Oh, I won't cuss then. Shit.
He's a UGK fan.
Oh my God! So he gotta like cussing.
Well, I won't say like, but he's used to it. Maybe he's familiar with a few words here.
Just a few. We gonna come on after this. Okay. Break him. It's 97 out in the beat, DFW's hip hop station and home of the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Chopping Blades, Bun B in the building. Thank you for coming by.
I'm happy to come by, man. Talk to the city, let them know we in the city. We're gonna be in the house tonight at Trees and just having a good time.
Man, well, you know what? I'm glad you said that. I'm fine, because I was not worried about you, but I've been following you. You have taken Hurricane Harvey on your shoulders. It affected your hometown, your city, your people, and you could read that on your face. And I remember hearing you on In the Morning with Sway, and it was almost like you had a gig in LA, California, and it was almost like you didn't want to go.
No, I mean, we had already turned down one show before that, and then, but I was like, well, we can't keep doing that. You're right, that's not going to work, because everybody else got to go to work.
Right.
Right, but like the first show, we were literally in Port Arthur. We just got on the ground, and I didn't feel comfortable leaving because there was no structure. You know what I'm saying? Red Cross hadn't got there. FEMA they were still probably just getting on the ground in Corpus Christi. So we just felt obligated to where, like, I can't leave until I know we have a system set up and people who can do this when I leave. You know, so it was just about getting with a couple of classmates who were dealing with their own things, but, you know, knew that other people had it a lot worse than them. So once we had the system set up and, you know, had everything kind of set up for, you know, things being brought in, things being distributed through the community, people kind of driving through to pick up stuff, then I felt, okay, now I can kind of go. But I still felt bad about just leaving my hometown in general, like not wanting to not be there, period, with them emotionally. I know that, you know, for a lot of people, it meant something for me to be there physically. You know, obviously my heart was there.
You
and
can
praying
look
with them,
and see. You could look and see on your face and in your body, your energy. I'm not even going to say, your energy.
People knew that, like I said, they knew Red Cross wasn't there, and they knew people wasn't coming. And if we didn't come, people like me and Steven Jackson and the Babino brothers and Landon and Danny and all these guys, that we didn't kind of get together and do something. Like, we're the guys that give out turkeys in the holidays. We're the ones that throw the free parties in the park. We're the ones that do that for our hometown of PAT. So when the good things happen to them, they come from us. When bad things happen, they expect us to help. We do Easter egg hunts. We do all that stuff in that community.
Right.
So we had to do that too.
And we were speaking earlier about you and Scooter Braun had the telethon September 12th. I had surgery that day, liposuction. Me and UGK wifey was me and UGK wifey was just, I had to look at her eyes as I had liposuction that day. I'm sorry, but I tried to call in.
Life is life.
Life is life. But we did everything we could, and we still. But the thing about it is, I'm glad you're here because we need to know it doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't stop. I mean, we still have, pallets of stuff on the ground. I still have trucks coming in every day, every other day, coming from different places, parts of the city, parts of the state, parts of the country. And we're just trying to, keep a system going until these other organizations do what they're supposed to do. Because they still are our community, whether Red Cross or FEMA comes in and do what they got to do or not. These are still our people. They broke bread with us. They supported us. They got us to where we are in life. And we're not just going to sit back and on a comfy sofa and be like, oh, well, A
person listening right now, what is their first step? What can they do? Because we were discussing earlier the initiative you and Scooter Braun put together. That's closed today.
Yeah, we're supposed to be closing that today.
And you raised technically how much money?
I talked, that was earlier this week, that was 55. Wednesday was 55 million, I think.
55
so
million.
So it might be a little over that by now.
And you were saying earlier you had to close it in order to distribute it.
Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of this stuff. We can't start giving money out until we account for all the money that we have in, because people will pledge, but they don't always, all those pledges always don't go through. So you got to know. There's a difference between how much money people pledge and how much money you actually get.
Oh, wow.
So we have to get a full, because people are calling and say, yeah, I want to pledge or whatever, and say, I'm pledging $100, let me talk to Oprah, and then,
God, that's what I did.
And then go back and cancel the
That's what I did, oh my God,
like
I'm sorry, I owe me $100 when he leaves. I owe him $100.
And then there's the process of, getting contractual agreements between the charities that you're giving the money to. Because we don't just give people money. There has to be an accounting for every organization and a process to account for that money. So there's contracts that they got to sign, these particular organizations, just to get money from this fund. And then of course, then they go and look at the companies in real time and see what they're doing. When people say they're on the ground, they're just not going to give them money and assume they're on the ground.
Because they're crooks everywhere. They're crooks everywhere. They come in like thieves in the night. Now, we got together. Did you hear about the song where a lot of DFW artists and Houston artists got together? Zero, Paul Wall, Slim Thug, Duro. It's called Texas Together.
Yeah.
Have you heard it?
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to lay anything to it. I heard about it, but I was ripping and running. I
know you were Bun.
To get in the studio and make it
Bun.
happen.
Yeah,
But I think it's a beautiful thing that everybody came together.
Yeah.
If you're a sports fan, there's a perception of how Houston and Dallas get along. You know what I'm saying?
It's a rivalry a bit.
Some would say friendly, some would not. You know what I'm saying?
That ain't eating.
Football, baseball might be a little friendly, basketball might be a little friendly, but football is not a friendly.
What about the rappers, though? What do you think about the rappers?
It
was always a camaraderie?
Because when we see each other out of town, it's Texas. So if I'm in, L.A. or Miami or Atlanta, so when I see Duro or somebody like that, then it's Texas, and we all kind of link together.
Yeah.
And all the Texas rappers are kind of run together, like like the BT Hip Hop Awards will be coming up in a couple of weeks. So when we go out there, all the Texas dudes all see each other, and we'll kind of link up and holler and kick it like that in the club. Because the Florida dudes gonna have their little section.
Right. Yeah.
So Texas, we'll have our little section too. But we all kick it together. It's not separated like that. It's just you see familiar faces, and we don't get to see each other all the time because we don't live in the same cities. But we rep the same state. When whether you live in Dallas or Houston, once you leave the state of Texas, there's no differentiation. You're a Texan. And we have fun. Everybody making money, so ain't nobody tripping.
Okay, except for me. Let's go into that joint right now. DJ Scrappy, Texas Together. 97.9 The Beat, DFW hip hop station, and home of the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. I want to let y'all know the proceeds from this song. If you order this song on iTunes, go to thebeatdfw.com. The proceeds from this song, all of the proceeds go to help the hurricane victims of Harvey, Irma, all of it. So you buy the song for $1.29 and you are helping out. Little do you know. And every little bit helps, right, Bun?
No, everything helps. We don't really care. We're not differentiating when it comes to help. First of all, every one of those boxes I feel like comes with love, so you don't turn love down from people. You know what I'm saying? And even if you don't think you need it today or can't find a use for it today, if God puts something in your hands, you just hold it until God tells you where to put it.
Right. And
we eventually find places for it. So, we try not to stress out about it. We have days where we'll load up and they'll tell us we need to go to this neighborhood, and they'll be like, no, we okay. Take it to somebody that might need it more than us. And
that's love.
And then we get calls again every day from people like, yo, this person needs this, these people need that, if y'all can help. So they blowing me up, they blowing my wife up, they blowing Trey, Mr. Rogers, all these people up. So we just try to answer the call the best we can. I mean, Rogers passed out.
You definitely showed us another side of Bun B. And I know, and I that's like 3 different sides, because you're a professor now.
Yeah.
And you still whoop it ass. Yeah. Like, we saw it on Instagram. We saw it on Instagram. You almost whooped the man's ass.
We're trying not to catch a case at the same time.
Yeah, we don't want you to.
And even if you do catch a case, you got to show you was trying to be as political as possible about the situation
it
before
wasn't a hate crime.
Because the whole time it was police around. That's why he even got as loud and crazy as he did. But we're not worried about that. We'll have a good time in Dallas tonight.
Yeah. I'm just happy that you're having a good. But before I go, Bun, I want to celebrate you and your wife. I mean,
she won't mind that at all.
No, but listen, out of all these things you hear all the time about, he and her, and, I'm not even going to call names because I know you're a respectable guy and you don't get into that, like, news gossip type of thing. But I want to celebrate you and UGK Wifey #1. I've known y'all for...
her because she hasn't put up with my mess.
I've known y'all for a long time.
But I'm pretty moody. I'm not the easiest person to get along
with.
Who's
not moody, though? Who's not moody? I'm on my period. You can't even talk to me.
We're not going to have this conversation. I'm talk to you now.
But I just want to say, thank you for being the epitome of what love is. For when kids can look at y'all and see how, and it ain't all good. But it's more good than more.
Good, but it's all God.
But it's all. Oh, that's a T-shirt. That's a T-shirt. My T-shirt. My T-shirt. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. We got to go now. Oh, hell no. That's some bullshit. All right, y'all. Say something to me.